Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief brought to you by Lay of the Land. And as always, we bring you your news updates every Monday to Thursday. And we have been following with great intensity Israel's war with Hamas. And we do this report all throughout the year in peacetime as well as wartime. So let's take a look where we are currently. And it was announced this morning by the IDF that the lull in battle, that is the terminology they are using, will continue for another 24 hours. This is so that Israel can get out as many hostages as possible from the Gaza Strip. Prime Minister Netanyahu, as well as the IDF Chief of Staff, have reiterated that Israel has not abandoned its plans to eliminate Hamas terrorists. They will engage in their military operation when the timing is right. So what has transpired over the last 24 hours? Last night, 12 hostages were released, including 2 Russians at the request of Russian President Vladimir Putin. They were released, as well as 10 others, some of whom were dual American-Israeli citizens. And for the first time since the hostages have been released, we saw some males as well, some teenagers. We are expecting 10 hostages to be released later today. That will hopefully include 2 Bedouin teenagers, 17-year-old Aisha and 18-year-old Bilal. Their father and brother are also still being held in captivity by Hamas. It was also reported that we could see 3 bodies returned to us. We don't know who these bodies belong to. And the Hamas contact has told the AFP, no, all of the hostages to be released tonight will be alive. Now, on the subject of this, I want to address an issue that's very, very, very emotional for all of us here in Israel, and I'm sure around the world. And that is the situation with the Bibas family, little baby Kafir Bibas, his 4-year-old brother Ariel, and their mother Shiri. They've kind of become the face of the horrific situation for hostages. We can't forget baby Kafir, just 10 months old, his beautiful burnished copper hair and his big toothless baby grin. His 4-year-old brother, just as beautiful as he is. Now, yesterday, the Qassam Brigades, this is the military wing of Hamas, posted that the family had been killed during an airstrike by the IDF. Now, this is not confirmed. The IDF are currently investigating it. This is very, very important that we have absolute facts, because we have to be very sensitive and understand that we are dealing with people's lives here and families that are in extreme anxiety waiting for their loved ones to return. So what we do know is that it is supposed that the Bibas family were traded, not sold, as some people are posting on social media, traded to another terror faction, the PFLP. That's the Popular Front of the Liberation of Palestine. Hamas officials yesterday posted that horrific update. It could be psychological warfare. Remember, Hamas play psychological warfare games with all of us, and they have done this before. They also said that Hanach Katzir, one of the hostages released, I think it was the first night, had also been killed by an airstrike. She was released and is back with her family. So we don't know the details right now. We do know that the IDF are investigating. And again, I reiterate this because we've heard from the IDF, the Prime Minister's office, the Israel police, and journalists like myself who have said, please be very, very careful of believing rumor that you hear on social media and believing what you see posted on social media. We have to be sensitive to the situation for our hostages and their families at all time. Earlier this morning, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed in Israel. He is currently meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but he says he believes that these truces have been helpful in securing the release of hostages. Meanwhile, this morning, Israel's Minister of Health, Uriel Bisu, tweeted in Hebrew, taking the International Red Cross to task. He said they have not fulfilled their mandate in ensuring that hostages receive life-saving medicine that they need. Just a couple of days ago, Alma Abrahams was released from captivity, fighting for her life. Thank goodness she is okay now. Her daughter, in a press conference, lambasted the Red Cross for not ensuring that she received the life-saving medicine that she needed. And I also mentioned earlier this week in an Israel Brief broadcast that we've seen so many images of the Red Cross allowing for released Palestinian prisoners to fly Hamas flags, which is a contravention of the Geneva Convention and international law. Earlier today, 3 people were murdered as they were waiting for a bus in a terror attack in Jerusalem. The attack has been claimed by Hamas, who have called on their followers to intensify their resistance. The 3 victims are a 24-year-old woman, a 67-year-old woman, and a 73-year-old man, believed to be one of the chief rabbis from the rabbinate of the city of Ashdod. There was a car ramming attack earlier this afternoon. 2 soldiers were lightly wounded there. So we are not seeing an end to Hamas activities, just a moving of the battlefield. Of course, our thoughts and our prayers are with those who have been injured in today's terror attacks, and our thoughts and prayers are with the families who've lost their loved ones. May their memory be forever blessed. Yesterday, Israel at the United Nations commemorated the 76 years of the voting of the partition plan. If you go back to 1947, November 29th, this was when the United Nations voted to divide what was then British Mandate Palestine. Palestine named as such because the Romans wanted to eradicate the name Judea, where Jews come from, and so divided the area known as British Mandate Palestine into a country for Jews and a country for Arabs. The Jewish leadership accepted. The Arab leadership at the time rejected it, preferring to go to war, which they lost, and the rest is all history. But in his address to the United Nations, Israel's ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Gilad Erdan, also spoke about recent events between Israel and Hamas, saying that this could all be ended tomorrow if Hamas surrender and, of course, give us back our hostages, and also laid the blame at organizations like UNICEF and the United Nations for not speaking about, not recognizing Israel's victims, especially the plight of Israel's children. And finally, we want to pay tribute, as President Herzog did so movingly earlier today, for the passing of the late Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who passed away in the early hours of this morning at the age of 100. In his tribute to Kissinger, President Herzog said that he remembers a conversation with Kissinger where he said he is a huge supporter of Israel and will be forever. May his memory be a blessing. And that brings me to the end of all our headlines for today's edition of the Israel Brief. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. All our incredible content keeping you up to date with what is happening between Israel in our war with Hamas. There is incredible content from people like Dr. Ephraim Zurov. Harris Green writes his weekly dispatch from Israel. We have a phenomenal article or letter from Leslie Sachs. I have an article up there this week about my visit along with photojournalist Ilan Ossendrever down to the south just 2 weeks ago. We're also on Facebook. We look like this. You can find us at Lottel site. That's at LOTLSITE at Lottel site. Our YouTube channel is at The Israel Brief. You're watching me right now, so if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, invited your friends, you guys know the whole drill. Please do so. And of course, we are on X, where all good twits are. You can find us at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. And hey, I'll catch you again on Monday. Please take care of yourselves and each other.